Hola, muy buen mediodía. Espero que estén pasando un día excelente, un día estupendo, un día maravilloso. Son las 11 horas y 25 minutos, ahora en Meridium, a punto de man. Y es día, viernes 20 de marzo del año 2026 después de Cristo. Bueno, pues continuamos estudiando. Vamos con. Aristoteles Physics in English. So I'm going to begin to read the Aristotle Physics book at the page 4 and at the third or fourth paragraph. 2. Substance is plainly divisible into other substances. If we consider the mere nature of a definition, for instance, if a man is a substance, animal and biped must also be substances. For if not substances, they must be attributes. And if attributes either of A, man, or B, some other subject, but neither is possible. A. An attribute is either that which may or may not belong to the subject, or that in whose definition the subject it of which it is an attribute is involved. Thus, sitting is an example of a separable attribute, while snugness contains the definition of nous, to which we attribute snugness. Further, the definition of the raw of the whole is not contained in definition of the contents or elements of the definitory formula. That of men, for instance, in biped, or what of white men in white. If then this is so, and if biped is supposed to be an attribute of man, it must be either separable so that man might possibly not be biped, or the definition of man must come into a definition of biped, which is impossible as the converse is the case. B. If, on the other hand, we suppose that biped and animal are attributes not of man, but of something else, and are not each of them of a substance, the man too will be an attribute of something else. But we must assume that substance is not the attribute of anything, that the subject of which both biped and animal and each separately are predicated is the subject also of the complex biped animal. Are we then to say that all is composed of the indivisible substances? Some thinkers did. In point of fact, give way give way to both arguments. To the argument that all things are one of the of that all things are one if being means one thing. They considered that not being is to that from bisection that they yielded by position atomic magnitudes. But obviously, it is not true that if being means one thing and cannot at the same time mean the contradictory of this, there will be nothing which is not. For even if what is not cannot be without qualification, there is no reason why it should not be a particular not being. To say that all things will be one if there is nothing besides being itself is absurd. For who understands being itself to be anything but a particular substance, but if this is so, there is nothing to prevent there being many beings, as has been said. It is then clearly impossible for being to be one of these in this sense. For the physicists, on the other hand, have two models of explanation. The first set make the underlying body on either on one of the three or something else which is denser than fire and rather than air that generate everything else from this, and obtain multiplicity by condensation and rarefaction. Now these are contraries, which may be generalized into excess and defect. Compares Plato's great and small, except that he makes this his matter the one his form, while the others treat the one which underlies as matter and the contraries as for example, forms. The second set asserts that the contraries are contained in the one and emerge from it by segregation, for example, Anaximander, and also all those who assert that what is one and many, like Empedocles and Anaxagoras. These are axioms of logical commutable at the first beginning of zero point 0.1 or zero point 0.1, as the translation in Spanish. So I'm going to finish the reading book right now. I'm going to speak in Spanish. Pues nada, ya les he leído el libro de Aristóteles Física, un poquitín, y ya haremos vídeos un día. Gracias a todos, espero que les haya gustado.